Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we would be discussing about Xpath in Selenium. Xpath is one of the ways to identify elements. It is the argument for the by.xpath method. Xpath as a whole is a very vast topic. We would be discussing it with respect to Selenium. So actually Xpath is a W3 standard and it's used to identify and navigate through XML. But the version 1 is also supported in Selenium. So if some other functions, when you try it out, it does not work, it's because only the version 1 functions of Xpath is supported with Selenium. Let us discuss what is the relative and absolute path. When it comes to absolute path, it always starts with the HTML. So that is the beginning of a DOM. So it starts from there and there it navigates to the element. The difficult part or the disadvantage of using absolute path is, see, whenever if some of the elements in between changes, your XPath won't work. The better way is a relative XPath where you know a unique element which can be uniquely identified. For example, here the nav, which can be identified using a class. Then you find the link. The best way would be to directly identify whatever element you want. For example, here we are identifying an element which is a link having a text called pricing. So these are the ways. So always prefer directly identifying the element. Now this is also important. There are two ways to start your XPath. One is using // and another is //. So you should always use // so that it will start from the element you have identified. So in this example, your XPath will navigate to the childs of the main content. However, if you use // it will always start from HTML. So use always //. Let us see some examples. So here we are having a XPath which starts with //, then we have a tag and it has an attribute and value. So this is how a typical XPath would look like. You know the attribute you want to identify and its value. Some cases you won't have any unique attributes, but the text would be unique. For example, in the links, then you can use a function called text. There are cases when you cannot identify with a single attribute, so you can use even two attributes or multiple attributes by using the AND. Some cases you can even use the function to modify the values before comparing. For example, you can check whether the starts with method or function is there, so that your attribute, let us say you have a class which starts with some name, so you can use that also. There are other functionalities too. Even you can navigate back the DOM. For example, you found an attribute, then you can use parent to come one level up, then you can use following to find the next element of the parent. So these kind of lot of functionalities are there. Another thing is, whenever you are using SVG, you cannot use these direct tags. So you should be always using // and the name function should be used, and it should name the SVG and its element. Its element like rect and all those should be used with the name. There are multiple functions as we saw previously which we can use. For example, contains, it will check whether this text is present in your area. So for example, in this example, the button, whether it contains the GitHub. It can have multiple text, but it contains this GitHub. So starts with, it's also similar. If your text starts with the sign in, whatever will be the out, let's say sign out or sign in, but both will be matched. Note is to find the opposite of it. Normalize space is we can trim the space, white spaces in the beginning and the end. String length, as you guess, it will give the length. You can compare it with some value. So these are functions. There are multiple other functions, but be sure like you only use the functions with the version number 1 of XPath. Now let us conclude what we learned. We can use functions to modify the attribute and value pair. It is used to identify elements when we cannot directly identify an ID or a name. So we use XPath to identify some other attributes or some other functionalities of the web element. The XPath will be different for SVG element. Hope you guys got an idea. See you in the next one. Thank you.